Hey, good morning. Let's check this out. So we're getting stuff ready to roll. Hopefully this week we'll kind of get into the field a little bit. But I was having issues with this one yesterday, and we're kind of talking to Deere about it. We're having an invalid GPS signal, so when I come in here and turn on my auto track, it's throwing an invalid GPS signal. I'll wait for all the accuracy to come up here. But I was farting around with it yesterday, and I called the John Deere tech, and so he's working on it too. I don't know if it was something with an update or what it is, but this is a very mediocre way to... We got a software update. So yeah, you just witnessed something right there, is where they push software to these tractors over the air or through the cellular service. So right now I'll install it. Maybe they actually sent a file to us to see if this will help it work out, maybe. So it's going to download the software and we'll see if this fixes it, I guess. But this is my brother's tractor. His strip tiller. My girl sitting over there. Got the tender truck hooked up. What will happen is when we start fertilizing, the fertilizer outfit will bring straight trucks, keep that full, and then we'll pull off that truck. It'll be like a tender station. There's Dad. He waved. The other day I hooked up to my planter just to see if most of the systems work, and they're a success. So I'm going to be somewhat confident that when I go hook up to it after we're done strip tilling, that everything should kind of work, aside from maybe the fertilizer stuff. I didn't want to run water through it and have to worry about freezing or anything like that. Here comes Daryl. So I don't know. Well, might as well do something while we're sitting here waiting. But something that's kind of cool about these tractors is, you know, like in newer cars, you got, what the heck? I zip tied it. You know how you have Apple CarPlay or Google CarPlay? If you plug the phone in here, turns your radio into whatever you want. I was playing baby music for Margaret, so don't make fun of me. Or you can look at your Google Maps. There's our farm. Got all kinds of fun stuff. Well, since I don't know how long this will take, I'm gonna go make some coffee. Cool. I love the exit lights. So we're starting to get our inventory of chemicals moved in here. Got our first batch of seed in. We got quite a bit more coming in for that. So things are starting to get a little ready around here. Things are starting to dry out. Yesterday, it was a beautiful day. It was, I don't know, it almost got up to 80, I think. I wasn't paying attention, but it was warm. I don't know, I think if we get that tractor figured out, we might be starting some strip till, you know, at least on some. We got a field that we don't have to put any fertilizer, another field we don't have to put any fertilizer on, that we might be able to get rolling on. But right now I gotta get some stuff going here, so we'll see what happens. So we got the tractor figured out. Well, I guess I don't know if I got it figured out. I'm not sure what happened, but something with software probably going back and forth. I don't know what happened, but it's working now, so that's the main thing. We're not rolling yet, but what I gotta do is get everything set up, ready to go, and all the files sent to each machine. And so I come in here to Operations Center in John Deere, and I make a setup file. And so what I'll do is come in here and make a list of fields with their boundaries, with their AB lines and their auto track guidance from last year. What that'll do is when we go to the field, we'll have all that information already pulled up. So when we go to strip till or spray, say you're going into strip till, well, I can pull up the file. It'll have a tank mix for that strip till blend, and then it'll have our auto track guidance already saved from last year, because we go in between the row. And so you save those AB lines from year to year. That way when you go out there, you'll have the perfect straight line coordinates, and you can go right in and just hit the ground running. And then with the tank mix already set up, you kind of know what's going to be applied, so it sets up that file and it's already pre-set in there, so I don't have to go in every field and say that we're putting this amount of 1034O on and this type of fertilizer and this type of fertilizer. It'll have that already put in, so when it goes to record it, it's recording the right rate, and so the less for the user to have to do in the field. Same goes for the sprayer. We'll go in there, we'll put the auto track guidance, all the tank mixes that will go through the sprayer, and those files will be sent to that machine. And I do that all, and I set it up here in the operations center, and luckily now they do it all automatically. And after that machine's done recording in the field, that's always being sent back to the cloud, and so we have all that data automatically stored in operations center, which back in the old days, what you would do, old days, not too long ago, but you would just take a USB stick, and when you got done recording at the end of the year or at the end of the field, whenever you wanted to pull that data out, then you pulled it through USB, brought it back to your computer, did it, and then you saved it that way, usually more local file. But now everything's becoming more cloud-based, automatic, which is nicer because you're less likely to get corrupt files and, I don't know, lose things that way. Just automatic is better because this ain't quite so automatic up here anymore. Oh, probably gonna go eat some lunch. Well, let's see if we got the files to transfer over here. You go from 80 to, oh geez, here we go. I'm going to clear this all out. Start over fresh. I'm gonna do a factory, since this is the first year, I'm just gonna make sure this is all cleared out. By doing the factory reset like this, it clears all any field information that was ever stored on these monitors. So that way it's not putting like somebody else's field name in our list, because I've had that happen where I didn't clear them all out. And when we get another piece of machinery, it'll pull up any field names that was saved on this and put it in our operations center. So starting fresh, hopefully this will eliminate some of that. Yeah, we'll talk about that in a later video. Oh, try something different. Well, we're stripping. At least the only way it'd pay me. So this field here had hog manure put on it from a facility just down the road that way, and we don't have to apply fertilizer to it just because it had enough nitrogen and enough other nutrients in it that we're not having to put any other commercial fertilizer on it, which is good. And so we figured it'd be a good start before we get hot and heavy on this stuff, just to get this going, get this field done. Let's go out and take a look. You can kind of see these lines where the hog manure applicator guy was making. Well, he drug a hose. They run a big hose and they pump from the pit to the machine, and it'll kind of drag and create a little bit of clumps. And so we just wanted to make sure we could come in here and even this out a little bit. And so I really don't want to disturb too much, but I still want to make a nice little seed trench, or seed bed I should say. So I'm not going very deep, probably 2, 3, well maybe 4 inches deep. Just kind of sweeping that residue out of the way, and yeah, just making a 8-inch, 10-inch seed bed for that to go into. And if you notice, mine's equipped with the Hawkins floating fur openers. You don't have to pin adjust them like on my brother's. And so far we ran them last year. It's just they came out and they put an update kit because they weren't happy with their design last year. Their design last year wasn't a bearing. There's a bearing in here now. Last year was just kind of a bushing that went up and down, and every once in a while they'd kind of get hung up. I never had much of an issue, but Yeah, these keep it from having to get out and set all the time. So far working well. My brother hasn't put them on his because he's stubborn. He's waiting to see how I'm getting along. So that's kind of what we're doing. Hopefully it's windy out today, so hopefully you can hear me. This is kind of where it's been. It always looks better after it kind of dries out just a hair. There's not a lot of residue with soybean stubble, but it can be kind of ropey and tough, especially when it gets wet. So it is kind of nice to sweep that out of the way, especially if we have any clumps or issues in the field. We're gonna no-till a lot into bean stubble this year, but this field we just wanted to make sure it was evened out with that applicator going through. Plus it won't take very long. This is 80 acre field, so we should get this wiped out pretty quick. Let's get some action shots.
I'm a boss, boss, boss. Baby, I'm a boss, boss, boss. Calling all the shots, shots, shots. Baby, I'm a boss, boss. You know I'm a baller. To the Honda Civic, you know how I handle my business. Boss, boss, baby, I'm a boss, boss, boss. Calling all the shots, shots, shots. Baby, I'm a boss, boss. You know I'm a baller.
That field's done. Got a birthday to go to tonight, so catch you in the morning. Welcome back. So Tom's gonna start running some water through his strip tiller to make sure it's, well, check for leaks basically, and to do whatever else he's gonna do. What I'm gonna do is unhook from this track filler, go hook up to a blade. A big blade.
We had fun. We had a
Trying to figure out where that stop goes. I don't think it goes there. There's usually a spot to put it. We had some cattle tromp around this well and it kind of made a little lull by the well, so I'm trying to push some of this back and make it work that way so it's not cut out right around the well. So that side's flipped up over there. You have the option to flip down these box, I don't know what you call them, sideboards. If I remember how to do this. Whoops. Sorry guys, I dropped you. That way it's open and I can kind of go back and forth and hopefully make this world a better place to live in. Whatever you think, I'm definitely not taking the lead. just done. That's not my worst work. Kind of slopes back down here to there. I think we'll go with that. Dirt work's kind of one of those things you can either spend pretty much as long as you want on it. I got my slope. It's really, I don't know if you could tell it before, but it's just a lot of humps and jumps around there, which kind of makes it a little more difficult. But I think we'll call this satisfactory. Please call it satisfactory. I think we'll take her home. So I think I'll wrap this video up right here, guys, but before I go, I just appreciate you guys watching, and we're gonna have quite a few more of these coming out here this spring, so stay tuned. And if you want, you can subscribe, and if you liked it, you can hit the like button. I think it helps, so I've heard. But on a different note, I kind of want to give a shout out to my Uncle Tim right now. He kind of had a rough few days. He had a heart attack recently, and he's made it through it so far, and he's still recovering. So I know he watches a few of these, so if you're watching, Uncle Tim, I'm thinking about you, and hopefully it gets better soon. So yeah, also it's Easter weekend, guys, and so I just want to pray that you guys have a blessed weekend, and yeah, we'll catch you on the flip-flop later.